Jai Gurudev's involvement in the Ayodhya issue dates back to 2003. What prompted him to take and step in and work towards resolving such a long standing and sensitive conflict? Yes, Gurudev has always believed that spirituality transcends political and social divides. When the Ayodhya dispute erupted in the late 20th century, it was not just a legal issue, but one that touched deeply on the emotions and identities of millions. Gurudev recognized that a resolution could not come from anger or conflict, but from dialogue and understanding and empathy. His primary motivation was to keep both communities, Hindus and Muslims, find common ground and work towards a peaceful and respectful resolution. He was also part of the mediation panel formed by the Supreme Court. Can you elaborate on the approach he took in facilitating dialogue between the two parties involved? Yes, Gurudev's role in the panel was central to its success. His method has always been to ensure both parties are healed with respect and empathy. He encouraged a non confrontational dialogue, which each side could express their concerns without fear of judgment. Gurudev kept the conversation rooted in mutual respect, promoting understanding over confrontation. This was instrumental in preventing escalation and guiding the mediation process toward a solution that emphasized unity and peace. The mediation panel submitted a sealed report to the Supreme Court in 2019. What were the key recommendations that you and your co panelists made? Yeah, the panel's primary recommendation was to ensure that the resolution would not just address the legalities but also the emotional and spiritual concerns of both communities. Gurudev's influence ensured that approach was based on a spirit of reconciliation. The report urged that the resolution honor the religious significance of the site for both Hindus and Muslims. Ultimately, it aimed at healing the wounds of the past while fostering an environment of peace and respect. In the years leading up to the final verdict in 2019, how did you see any turning points that made you optimistic about a peaceful resolution? One significant turning point was Gurudev's ability to bring people together not just for dialogue, but for joint activities like peace marches and interfaith dialogues. These events allowed both sides to meet in a neutral, peaceful space, which helped break the cycle of distrust. Gurudev emphasized that healing cannot occur if people continue to live in isolation or distrust. His efforts to bring together leaders from both communities in such natural settings helped lay the foundation for mutual understanding. The Supreme Court's verdict in 2019 supported the construction of the Ram Temple. How did Gurudev react to the judgment and what message did he deliver to the nation? Gurdev welcomed the decision as a step towards peace and unity. His message was clear. The construction of the Ram Temple is a symbol of cultural heritage, but it should also be a symbol of unity and respect for all communities. He emphasized that this decision should not be seen as a victory for one side, but as a victory for India as a whole. Gurudev called on people from all walks of life to come together and work toward a future that promotes tolerance, respect, and harmony during such a long process. How did Gurudev maintain a balance between his spiritual teachings and the political and social pressures surrounding the case? Gurudev's teachings emphasized the power of inner peace and detachment. He often spoke about the importance of rising above the emotional and political currents that surrounded the case. His spiritual teachings were central to the mediation process by focusing on values like forgiveness, compassion, and non-violence. He created a space where solutions could be sought in a calm, respectful manner free from political motivations. His belief that every person, regardless of religion or background, deserves dignity and respect shaped the dialogue. One challenge of resolving a dispute like this is the historical and emotional weight attached to the site. How did Gurudev address these sensitivities? Gurudev's approach was rooted in empathy. He acknowledged the deep emotions and historical significance of the site for both communities. His guidance helped both sides realize that while history cannot be erased, it is possible to create a future that respects the feelings of everyone. Gurudev consistently encouraged both sides to let go of past grievances, focusing on the shared values that bind them together, such as love, respect, and the desire for peace. How did Gurudev's role in this process teach us about the power of dialogue and spirituality in resolving deep-rooted conflicts? Gurudev's role has reinforced the idea that dialogue based on mutual respect and understanding is the most powerful tool for conflict resolution. He showed us that even the most contentious issues can be approached with compassion and a spirit of forgiveness. His leadership throughout this process highlighted the power of spirituality to heal wounds and bring people together. Through his example, we learned that even in the face of complex challenges, maintaining a compassionate and open heart can create pathways to peace. As a Ram temple begins to be built, what legacy do you think Gurudev's involvement will leave for future generations. Gurudev's legacy will be one of peace, unity, and spiritual leadership. He demonstrated that difficult disputes can be resolved when people choose understanding over conflict. His involvement in the Ayodhya issue will be remembered as a model of how spirituality can contribute to solving real world problems. Future generations will look back at this process and recognize the importance of patience, empathy, and the willingness to listen to each other. Gurudev has shown us that true peace comes from within, and that when we cultivate peace within ourselves, we can create lasting peace in the world around us. Finally, what is Gurudev's message to the people of India and the world as we move toward from this historic moment? Gurudev's message is one of hope and unity. He encourages us to celebrate our differences and use them as a source of strength. The construction of the Ram temple is a moment of great significance, but the true purpose of this event is to bring people together to foster an atmosphere of respect and mutual understanding. Gurudev urges the people of India and the world to remember that peace is not just the absence of conflict, but the presence of harmony, love, and respect for all. Jai Gurudev.